Welcome to the Heroes of the Storm overview panel. Your panelists are Dustin Browder, Alan Dabiri, Sam Didier, and Chris Siggety.
Hello, Blizzcon.
Howdy.
Hello. So this is kind of a dream panel for me here. These are all the guys that I hang out in the office with all the time. We play board games together. We play Dungeons and Dragons together. So to get a chance to come up on stage and talk about the game we've been working on for the last couple of years is an absolute blast. We've got Alan Dabiri, lead engineer. We've got Samwise Didier, our art director. And we got Chris Siggety, production director. All right, we're going to talk to you a little bit today about what we've been working on for Heroes of the Storm. So, Heroes of the Storm is a lot of different things. This is a big game. We've been working on it for a long time, but I'm going to try to boil it down into some sort of key points for you guys. It's about getting these Blizzard heroes into the game. It's about trying to create an environment where we can bring all of the heroes from all of our worlds into one single amazing game. It's about fun with friends, and this seems kind of obvious, I guess, but it's about playing with your buddies. This is a team game. We want to focus it on teamwork and working together as a group. And it's about these battlegrounds, these new ways to play games in this genre, new challenges, new strategy, and new tactics. And of course, for us, it's about paying homage to the amazing Blizzard community that really helped create and invent this entire genre of game. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, for me, it really seemed like everything really exploded when Warcraft 3 came onto the scene. We had some really great stuff, of course, in Brood War and even before. But Warcraft 3, it seemed like everything just really took off.
Yeah, so from my perspective with Warcraft 3, the big changes that came that feed into Heroes was the editor. It was our most powerful editor that we'd released. And then the other side effect was the game itself. Warcraft 3 was centered on a lot of game mechanics, different things that played into War 3, the game, and the community took this powerful editor and then started removing elements from it and doing things like tower defense games where all of the races had towers, but nobody, the game wasn't based on that, but they did. They made that game. And then AOS-style games came online. They really started taking away the resourcing elements and concentrating on going out there, creeping, and fighting hero on hero. So those are a couple of things that I think led into it.
There was also, Warcraft 3 was one of the first games that we made just a huge amount of art for. We had 4 races, right? Creating new art there. We had all these creeps. This is where Murlocs and Kobolds and all these things were created. And the fans basically took this game and said, that wasn't too bad, Blizzard. I think we can make a few games out of this ourselves. Thank you for that. But yeah, there was just so much to work with, and they weren't, necessarily hampered by any kind of, rules for one type of game or whatever. And they just made, these genres that are just, awesome now.
Yeah, I think it's also a testament to the editor how easy it was to be able to create a map. Part of it, just the game engine itself, it was so data-driven. It was for a bit of a selfish reason as well. At Blizzard, we're pretty iterative in our design, and so the engineers were always trying to protect ourselves, where every time game design changed their minds, they could basically do it themselves. And after a while, we realized that, wow, these are really cool tools. Map makers can make all kinds of cool stuff, and so we started adding features that we didn't even use in the game that map makers could make cool maps with it, and the rest is history.
All right, so how this all started for us is we wanted to make this, I know it's hard to imagine this, but think back to 2010 when we first put out Wings of Liberty. We weren't sure everyone understood how cool our tools were and how powerful the editor was. And we were a little nervous that maybe it wouldn't explode off the scene as much as we wanted it to. And looking back, it seems ridiculous. All the great games and mods that have been made inside the StarCraft 2 editor. But at the time, we were a little nervous. And so we decided we would try to show you guys what was possible inside the StarCraft 2 editor using our tools. And so we made this little game that would later become Heroes of the Storm. And we worked on it, we brought it to Blizzcon, and you guys were very positive about it. And we left BlizzCon wanting to do more work on this game. And we went back to the office, and I think at the time, wasn't everything in this game just StarCraft?
Most of it, if not all of it,
Yeah, I think we had, did we have ETC for this one? I think that was it. Otherwise, or not, maybe not yet. Anyway, it was all StarCraft units. We didn't have any Warcraft units in it at all. Or if we did, it was very few. And I remember I went up to Sammy and we were talking about it and we were trying to figure out if we're going to make this game, what universe are we going to set it in? You know, should it be a StarCraft game? Should it be a Warcraft game? What are we trying to do? And we had this arcade machine in our space that we used to play a bunch of games on. We were waiting for builds. And it was branded with this kind of, they'd put all this crazy mixture of art on it. Was this one piece, or did they combine stuff together?
This is like art from, you know, different times in Warcraft and StarCraft. Some of it's some of the BlizzCon art. But if you look, it's got, you know, we got Illidan on there, right? Kind of popular. We got Diablo on there. Protoss and Terran. Blood Elves. And the Murloc is on there. Always showcasing how we like to throw these cool, hardcore characters, but also have a little bit of the humor touched in there as well.
And then there was this other moment that happened maybe a year later where we were working on this game, and I was getting a little nervous. I was like, I don't know. Like, what are we really doing here? It seems kind of all over the place. I don't understand. What is the visual, creative vision for this game? And in my moment of weakness, I went to Sammy again. I said, Sammy, I don't know, man. What are we doing here? And he pointed to this poster hanging on our wall. And
it's like, turn around, dude. Check it out.
Yeah, it's right behind me.
Looks really good together.
There's this Wei Wang piece, I think, right? That he done specifically for BlizzCon. And so this was an example of how literally, weirdly, BlizzCon itself became the world in which we built this game. We were building it based on all this amazing art we had seen hanging around our office, hanging around the studio, that had come specifically for BlizzCon. All right, so that's what we're doing. We're making BlizzCon the game. We're trying to get all of these heroes all smashed together and create this game that has a lot of freedom to it and the ability to really do sort of crazy things and have any hero from any one of our universes suddenly jumping into this amazing battle. It was all sort of inspired by this map that we started with, and of course, all of this art from BlizzCon we'd had hanging around the office. And then the other thing we've been inspired by recently has been Hearthstone. And this is a game that we've been playing in the office just a little bit longer than you guys have, but it's been really geeking it up. I know, Chris, you've been playing a ton of Hearthstone.
Yeah, this is a great slide. I think Hearthstone is important to Heroes of the Storm because Hearthstone represents, they've done a really great job. Team 5 internally, I keep throwing these kudos on them because I think they've captured that fun and the essence of Warcraft in this card game really well, and we aspire to do that with Heroes as well, and we're on our way. We're in our alpha phase, but we're going to see more of that. The other thing that Hearthstone represents is an arguably crowded space, and I keep getting asked this question about, are you worried about the space that Heroes of the Storm is going into? And for us, I think it's been true for all of the games, but Hearthstone being the most recent to say, it's an arguably crowded card space. How are you going to go in there and play and have Hearthstone come out in there? And we're not even thinking about that. We're focused on making the best card game we can with Hearthstone, and I think that's the same thing here with Heroes. Well, we want to put that Blizzard slant into this genre, into this hero brawler genre, and make it great. And so Hearthstone is an inspiration.
I think the other thing I love about Hearthstone is that you're looking at a game that when you first play it, it looks pretty simple. It looks like, well, you know, I don't know if there's that much to it. And then, you know, 100 hours later, you're still clicking away, trying to get as much damage done as you possibly can, trying to survive that next attack. It's just absolutely an amazing experience. And we really want to challenge the genre. This is the other thing we're trying to do. We want to try to provide something new for our players, some new strategies, some new tactics, some new things to do, so this game feels fresh and original, and it's like something that you would really want to check out, something worthy of your attention. All right, let's talk a little about Blizzard Heroes. I know this is a big part of what the art team has been working on for the last many months, trying to get all of these amazing heroes into this game. Pretty cool. You want to talk, Sammy, about like all the work your team has been doing for these heroes?
Yeah, like a lot of the questions I've been getting to is like, you know, is it difficult to kind of make StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo all fit sort of in the same game? And the answer is really no. I mean, how many times, you know, as an orc, have you stood next to demons, you know, in Outland? We've been doing that for years. So Diablo's not really much of a stretch for that, right? So, you know, we take a lot of the characters that we have, and with some of the Diablo characters, they're arguably a little bit more realistic, a little bit more dark, and you know, real to this world, kind of. And we sort of just ramp them up just a little bit into some of that comic book level that World of Warcraft has, where everyone's like, whoa, you know, like super huge comic book heroes and villains. And then StarCraft kind of falls right in the middle, where it had a little bit more, fidelity, the textures, the specular mapping, and all these cool art terms. But we sort of applied these to all of our characters, and they all seem to fit really well together in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, we work together daily, but there's a sense of admiration looking across at the art that the artists have created for this game. It happens on other teams, but even within the team, it's still a kind of pinch yourself when you come to work sort of thing when you see the final results here that the artists have hit. And I don't want to build up egos anymore here, but anyway, it's great stuff. We're floored on a daily basis.
All right, so these are our heroes. These are the guys we're trying to create. Some of these guys have lots of lore behind them, lots of depth. These are heroes. People have a lot of expectation of how they're going to play. This is Arthas, the Lich King. This guy's got to be absolutely amazing. He's got to feel like you are in command of one of the most deadly villains to ever stalk the north wastes of Azeroth. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Well, we got one sail over there.
So here's all of these different versions that we've had of this character over the years. And this is a real challenge, I think, for the art guys to try to capture the essence of this character into sort of a single vision of what they're trying to get done. And this is the version we have of this guy today.
So here is Heroes of the Storm's version of Arthas. And what's nice, for the Lich King! Yes. So what was kind of funny is, as Dustin was saying, we had years of concept material for this guy. We didn't really have to lift a pencil or push a pixel to help define this guy. The years and years of Blizzard artists doing this have already helped us. So what we did is take the iconic elements of Arthas, the Lich King crown, right? Frostmourne, the black armor with the skulls and the cool spiky shoulder pads. We took elements of every single one of the Arthas concepts and just sort of picked our favorite ones and put them all together, and now we have our Heroes of the Storm Arthas here.
So when it comes to the gameplay, we want to try to match what these guys have done with the art. So we want Arthas to be a slayer. This guy's a killer. He's really tough. He can take a lot of damage, but he needs to have the powers to wipe out his enemies as well. And so we're putting a lot of abilities in the game that allows Arthas and encourages him to hunt down and kill his enemies. Arthas will actually steal the souls of enemies he kills, and they will follow him into battle. So you really want to be hunting down enemy heroes. We have an idea that we're playing with right now in Heroes of the Storm where you can choose your own heroic ability. And one of the reasons we do this is because these characters are so big, it's sort of hard to contain them inside one single set of powers. So we give you choices of multiple powers. So we've got Sindragosa, this giant frost-breathing dragon, undead dragon that will sweep across your enemies. If you don't like Sindragosa, you can choose to summon the army of the dead and lead all of your, frozen ghouls into battle as you attack your enemies.
As a little tribute to some of the Warcraft 3 fans out there, anyone out there, Warcraft 3, played it? All right, so nobody, so I'll explain. No, basically, if you check out this slide here, this is Prince Arthas before the fall. You notice he has Frostmourne there, but he's sitting there all beautiful with his long blonde hair, just looking all princely and everything. And that's one of the fun things about this game. Art-wise, we can even go back to some of the characters from the past or what they used to be and then, what they are now. So, Prince Arthas here, it's still Arthas, but everybody knows, he has a sort of a dark side of him about ready to come out when they see this skin.
One of my favorite characters in the entire Blizzard multiverse, Elite Tauren Chieftain. Do we have any fans of ETC out there at all right now? Well, I know they're very famous, so it'll come as no surprise to you that I actually have 3 members of the Elite Tauren Chieftain here on stage with me today. 3 guys from this amazing band that often has these other bands close for you guys, right? You have occasionally some bands come by and they finish what you guys start. This has been a character that I think has been absolutely a wonderful part of the Blizzard universes. What do you guys think makes this character really work? What do you think makes ETC fun for Blizzard fans?
Well, I can't speak on whether it works or not because I know musically there's a lot to be desired. But as far as what we're trying to do with ETC and Elite Tauren Chieftain is capture some of the mirth and some of the fun that's always been present in Blizzard games, going back to Warcraft 2, clicking on your, orc grunt, trying to get to his piss lines and hear his funny line, and clicking on that sheep 100 times and making it explode.
Yeah, actually, a sheep exploding is exactly what the band sounds like.
That's accurate. That's pretty much accurate.
Well done.
I wanted to describe it accurately, right? But that's the point of it, and whether it always comes across that we want that in Heroes of the Storm, and I think that's what this is speaking to, or what we're trying to do. So,
Awesome. Well, here's ETC in Heroes of the Storm.
Something for the Alliance fans to kill whenever they see.
This character is absolutely awesome in game. He's a very high mobility kind of warrior character. He can move quickly around the battlefield. He's got the ability to heal himself if he gets in trouble. Since he's moving quickly, you can imagine he gets in trouble quite a little bit. So he needs an ability to sort of stay in the action and protect himself when he gets into trouble. He's also got one of the most fun heroic abilities in the game called Stage Dive. He leaps off from wherever he's at, he flies across the battlefield and lands at any other location. So he can absolutely surprise the opposition, appearing absolutely just out of nowhere to jump on the enemy. The other ability he has is Mosh Pit. And this is the ability to sort of rock out for a minute and have everybody nearby, all of the enemies, stop and have a little dance.
I'm just going to say that I think he has 2 more fans than the real band does.
once again, accurate.
All right, so you see we've got 2 heroes here, 2 warrior heroes, but they're very different heroes. Arthas is a lot slower, a lot tougher, and a lot about dealing out the damage, as opposed to Elite Tauren Chieftain, who can move rapidly around the battlefield and really bring the fight to the enemy. That's one of our big goals for this game when it comes to the design of these heroes, both artistically and in terms of how we build them in the game. We want all of them to be as unique and special and feel like you're playing as a different character as we possibly can manage when you sit down to play. All right, now I'm going to talk about this weird guy called Abathur. You guys had a chance to play Abathur out there yet? You haven't. This is a pretty cool character. Now, here's the problem with Abathur. I've got a video I'm going to show you of Abathur in this game, but it's going to move pretty fast. So I'm going to give you a little setup here on the screen. So we got Abathur. This is a guy who can jump inside any friendly hero. He can sort of ride shotgun with them, infest them. And when he's inside this other hero, he can shoot abilities off of his ally. Abathur can't fight to save his life. Abathur is an absolute victim. All he's got is these kind of jazz hand attacks. He got nothing. But he can jump in and infest friendly heroes, and then he's a real threat. So he's going to be jumping all over the battlefield. The other thing you need to know about this match you're going to watch here, this short couple of minutes, is this is on Dragonshire. And what happens on Dragonshire is you need to capture 2 obelisks, one on the top of the map and one on the bottom of the map. When you capture both obelisks, it opens up the Dragon Altar. And when you go to the Dragon Altar, you can tell one of your heroes to channel on the Dragon Altar and become the Dragon Knight. This is pretty bad news for the other team. The Dragon Knight is absolutely, totally destructive. You've only got a couple of minutes to use him, but he annihilates anything that gets in his way. So when we watch this clip, you're going to see Abathur manipulate the entire flow of battle to make sure that his team gets control of the Dragon Knight. I also say, this is not a pro match. This is not even a setup match. This is just one of the matches that we played in the office when we were testing this game to bring it to your Blizzcon. And we just grabbed a bunch of these games, and we put them together so we could show you guys what the game looks like. So sometimes the play might be a little awkward, but that's okay. You'll get the idea of what's actually happening in this game. So you can see Abathur there hiding behind the wall, as he should. Remember, jazz hands, he can't fight. And Abathur's going to hide there, and then he's going to make his move. So we're going to start the video here in a second, and Abathur's going to start doing his thing. So he's in this bottom lane, but he's actually watching the top lane. And you can see Roller Derby Nova there is moving around, and she's trying to push against these red players. She's trying to push against Gazlo the Tinker and against Volstad. She's getting a little bit of trouble here, and watch for it. There's the infestation. Abathur is now guarding her, and it gave her a little bit of shield there, which bought her a little bit of time to get back to this fountain so she can heal up. That's cool. Now Abathur's going to focus on the bottom lane. Now he's down here, and there's the infestation. He just jumped into Arthas, and there, he got the kill. He just dropped ETC, giving his team the advantage in that bottom position. Now Abathur's moved. Where's Abathur? All right, Abathur's moved up to this top lane now. He uses deep tunnel ability to teleport across the map. And now, there he just jumped into Nova again. And he's going to help her out. He gave her a shield. He's going to fire a few abilities off of her there, and this whole presence of Abathur is scaring off this red team here, so they're backing away. So now this blue team's got control of that top lane. Down here in the bottom lane, Abathur's now watching again. Watch Vala, watch the white demon hunter there. And here comes Abathur. He's going to jump into her, and there it is. He just jumped into her, and now she's going to fire off a bunch of skill shots using her abilities, and Abathur's abilities are helping her at the same time, and they're going to fight off against these 3 red heroes. There's really 3 heroes there right now. There's really Abathur and 2 others. Now, they don't like the look of this. Red's going to back away, and now Demon Hunter and Arthas are going to grab that bottom watchtower, grab that bottom obelisk. And look, the dragon altar's open. Oh, there's Abathur. He just used Deep Tunnel. He teleported into position. He's going to channel on the altar, and boom, there's the Dragon Knight. In the hands of a skilled player, this guy is absolutely deadly. I don't know if that was that skilled a player, but he did pretty good. He manipulated the flow of events across the battlefield to get done what he wanted to get done to ensure his team's victory. Whole new crazy kind of hero for us in this game. All right, let's talk about some skins. This is the fun stuff. This is where it gets going, guys. All right, this is stuff the art guy's been working on forever. We got the usual stuff you might expect.
Yeah, okay, so this is, everyone knows Demon Hunter, right? Diablo. Her name is Vala. And we have a simple skin of hers, which we call the Vampire Hunter. So she's wearing her cool kind of Van Helsing gear. And it's just one of the color variants. We actually have a few color variants for her. I think we have a red one, blue, green, all these different kind of colors to a skin. So you may have another Vampire Hunter on the other team, but she might be wearing something else, a different color than what you're using. So just an example of one of the more simple skins we've done.
Then we got Diablo, of course. You got to get a chance to play Diablo in this game.
Big red.
But then it gets a little more interesting.
Big blue.
So this is who we call Lurkablo, which I like to joke around is the offspring of a Murloc and Diablo. It is the worlds coming together. But yeah, basically this is just something that we wanted to do. There was no real lore behind it. It's not going to be in Diablo 16 or anything like that we know of. Depends on how popular he is.
Okay. All right, and here's the ETC. You've seen him before, and here's one of my favorite skins for him.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone who was living in the 80s like we were will recognize the glam rock ETC. Oh, he's got the keytar, the key instrument of the 80s, and he's rocking the tiger stripe tights. He's got the pink bandana and high tops. This guy is so poisoned he doesn't know what to do.
I think this was the skin that convinced me that this will work. This will work.
This one did?
Yeah, well, there's a few others too, but when I saw this, I knew this game was for me.
I think this is a skin where I have that moment where I go, what are we doing? Like, really? Is this really happening? This
Yes.
is a real game. This is not a mod. This is real.
It's happening.
Waiting
This is
for them
real,
to shut us
Jerry,
down at
yeah.
this point after this skin.
All right, we got Uther, classic-looking paladin character.
And what happens if Uther was in StarCraft? He's still a medic, he's healing people. But, he carried that cool Warcraft flair all the way with him to the Caprulu sector, So he's rocking the medic armor, looking damn sexy.
There it is.
Yes, Judgment armor for Uther. So for on Hammer, this is probably one of the most popular armor sets for the Paladin, so it was the first one we did for him, so I think he's looking pretty darn good. No problem.
All right, so one of the big values for this game is fun with friends. It's a chance for you to play with your buddies, and this sort of affects the entire game design for this game. We sort of focus all of our decisions on this single value, and it sort of changes the game in a lot of different ways. We want to be able to get together with your buddies, put together a really cool, maybe sometimes a little strange, sort of superhero team, and go out and try to run over your opponents. One of the things we're trying to do is give you 20-minute games. And this has a bunch of advantages. First of all, if you're a disaster and you're losing, you'll only be losing for 10 or 15 minutes. But the other advantage to it is, if we try to play tonight and I'm running a little late and you start a game, and then I suddenly, hey dude, I'm here, I can maybe wait for the 5 or 10 minutes for you to finish. But if it was a longer game, maybe I would start a game and then you would finish a game. We would never end up actually getting together. So this is a really big value for us. Keep the game short so it's easy to get together with your friends and play this game as often as we possibly can.
I think it's also hit a little bit on the pacing that we want, and it's a fast actually get into the action very quickly, and by keeping to that shorter time frame, it's really helped the design keep that excitement constantly.
Yeah, you can get a few games in at lunchtime as well.
The other thing we're doing is team levels, and this has a bunch of impacts across the entire game. I think the first and foremost impact is you're always with your buddies. You're not ever trying to take anything from your allies. You're always trying to work together as a group for the common good. But it has a number of knock-on effects as well. I think one of these is support heroes. This allows us to have dedicated support heroes who aren't that good at killing much of anything, but they can totally support their team.
Yeah, I think that support heroes really follow my play style, and I really like what we've done so far with the different kinds of support heroes, where you can be a healer, you can be Tassadar, who does more shielding effects. You've even got Gazlo, the Goblin Tinker, who's got all kinds of map control mechanics. And having that team level aspect really allows me to do that. I don't need to be up at front killing everything. I can be back, defending my team, helping them win.
Now, as Alan was saying, that goes into our specialist heroes as well. Abathur would not work almost at all if he didn't have team levels to help him out. He'd have to be up front trying to fight off the enemy, and we know he's no good at that. And obviously these siege heroes as well, these other types of specialists who are designed to push against enemy armies and smash their fortresses, really benefit from this kind of change to the gameplay. All right, let's talk about Battlegrounds. This is where it gets kind of crazy. This is where we're doing some really fun new stuff. So all of us had the opportunity when we were working on Wings of Liberty to go out and talk to players all over the world, to talk to guys in the press, and we would show them what we're doing with the game. And we talk about the single player and the campaign experience. We would describe maps like this. We would describe maps like Redstone here, where there's lava rising and falling, and all of the resources are on the low ground. So you got to run down to the low ground, and the lava comes. And, you got to run back to the high ground. You got to do this dance with the lava. You got to interact with the environment in a meaningful way. And inevitably, when we would pitch this and we'd say, hey, this is this cool thing we're doing with campaign, somebody would say, can I have it for multi, please? Please, multi? And we would go, no, you're not going to get that for multi, because this game was based really on, a lot of the great things that were done in Brood War. And it wouldn't have been right for the game to start inserting all these really crazy map mechanics. I think we did one version of this that we put out a few months after the game released, right?
Yeah, we had a custom map for it, Burning Tides, but we never put it in the ladder or any of those kinds of things.
Yeah, it was a cool way to play, but it wasn't really core StarCraft. So when it came to this game, when we had an opportunity to do something brand new, we kind of remembered that feedback we'd had from the players and from the press guys that we talked to. We said, whoa, maybe we could do it. Maybe we could have some maps that got some kind of crazy mechanics on it, that have kind of a little story of their own characters, where the environment feels like it's a more powerful part of the battlefield, and you have to react to that environment. So we came up with this idea of the Nexus, and this is this collision of worlds where all of the Blizzard universes collide, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, basically we wanted to have a place that it would be okay if you saw a Lurkablo running around getting ganked by a prince, evil Prince Arthas and all that, and it wouldn't be something that you would worry too much about. We want to make sure that this game is fun first and foremost, but we also know that these characters are very, serious and have a lot of lore base to them. So in the Nexus is where anything can happen. It's worlds colliding, and everything is true or not true depending on how you want to take it. So that's basically the Nexus.
All right, so we've invented these crazy battlegrounds that will hopefully really change the way you play the game and give you a lot of new opportunities as you play through. And we're going to go through a couple of these. And these are things that the art and design teams have been working very hard on together, often one inspiring the other. Sometimes design inspiring art, sometimes art inspiring design. And we want to create a lot of teamwork with these things. We want to provide you, again, with opportunities to play with your buddies and work together as a group to overcome the obstacles that we're putting in front of you.
We got Kerrigan on a wolf, dude.
Crazy.
Queen of Blades riding a wolf. She's got wings. The Nexus.
All right, and we're going to give you new challenges as well, and ultimately new strategies. All right, the final most important part of this thing is variety. We want to provide you with lots of different ways to play, and we want to have the opportunity down the road to change up the game. One of the things we learned from StarCraft is how much different maps and changing maps over time could fundamentally alter the experience and really create a constantly moving target for our players where they're constantly challenged. And so as time goes on, we're free to take maps out of rotation. You can still play them in custom game, but they won't be there in the in the matchmaker anymore, and we put new ones in. So the game can kind of keep evolving with you. And if you guys give us feedback on one of these battlegrounds, you go, I kind of liked it when it launched, but now I'm done with it. We can just take it out and put in something fresh, something new. All right, let's talk about Blackheart's Bay. This is one of the maps that was largely inspired by the artist. The artist had done a bunch of pirate-themed stuff, a bunch of nautical-themed stuff, and we ended up building a map around all of these ideas. So one of your goals is to find the chests on these maps. They're going to spawn near the lanes. You got to find them and attack them. When you attack them, all these coins, all these cursed doubloons are going to spill out, and you got to go out and hoover those up and collect them. And you got to go find the cursed camps where there's these skeletons on the map, and if you kill them, out pops more candy. You can collect the doubloons coming from these guys. And then when you've got enough of these, you want to deliver these to Blackheart. You want to take them there and drop them off on his chest. Now, one of the things we love about the map is filled with treasure goblins. Of course, the treasure goblins are the other players. You want to find these guys when they're carrying coins, and you want to just kick the tar out of them and take all their money. And so this really changes the way the game plays, because, if Sammy suddenly got, 8 gold coins, he's a target. At that point, I might be willing to die to take him to half health. Meanwhile, everybody else is going to gather around Sammy like he's the quarterback.
Thank you.
And try to, good job, guys. And try to get him to Blackheart, where he can drop off those coins.
I think the thing that was missed there is just the fact when you do kill them, they go flying out all over the place. And so it's a spectacle in and of itself.
There's no pockets in the Nexus.
All right, and then when you collect the coins, Blackheart's Revenge is going to activate. His ghostly ship is going to turn to your side for a very brief but very devastating period of time. And he's going to start blasting enemy towns into ruin. So this absolutely changes the way you play the game. Whoever has the coins becomes a target. Doesn't matter who they are. Whoever doesn't have the coins is looking to get coins of their own. And you really need to find these guys, hunt them down, and take them out. All right, this is a crazy one we did pretty recently. This is the Haunted Mines. This is the idea
I love
of
it.
map. Yeah, this is nuts.
I love it.
2 weeks before BlizzCon. Yeah, let's get this in.
It may have been a month, but it was
4
really
weeks. Come on, Sammy. Jeez.
quick. It was really short. We had this idea of doing a map that had an above ground and below ground, because why not? So we have this mine entrance, and when the mine entrance will open up at a certain point in the game, and then you can go down into the mine, and now you're underground. And now you're in a competitive PvP, PvE dungeon. And there's all of these skeletons down there. You got to kill these skeletons and collect their skulls. There's also a boss down there. Man, there's a lot of team fights around this boss, I got to tell you. Like if we had a heat map, we would just see thousands and thousands of dead players around this boss, because so many of the skulls that you want to collect are inside this boss. And he's pretty hard to fight, so a lot of players will gather on this boss. There's often a big team fight that results. There's all kinds of sneaky shenanigans with players who are on the losing team trying to sneak in a hero to steal the skulls before they get murdered. Absolutely an intense moment around this guy. Now, once all the skulls are collected, a grave golem appears for each team. Now, if I've collected 70 skulls, some of you guys have collected 30 skulls, I've got a bigger grave golem. And these grave golems are then going to move across the battlefield, focusing on enemy towns, enemy fortifications, and going to smash everything that gets in front of them. And now it's a choice. We got to attack and defend. Do I want to defend my grave golem and then maybe try to attack yours? Or am I going to switch? Are we going to split the team up? And this is where the teamwork becomes absolutely vital. Communicating with your allies is totally essential to figuring out who's going to go where, what's going to happen, who has the best composition to engage a grave golem, who can deal with certain enemy heroes, and trying to find in just a couple of seconds the right move. And of course, these grave golems can lead to absolute victory. One of the things I sort of missed there as we were going through it was wherever the grave golem dies, that's where it respawns the next time it comes back up. So you need to get on this thing when it appears, and you want to kill it as fast as possible. I think most of our games last about 3 grave golems. There have been some 2, some 4, but you really want to make sure that thing dies as far away from you as humanly possible.
I think the other part of it is the strategy that is there before you even get to them rising in the bases, because you have to make a decision on when you're going to go down. Am I going to stay and push up top? Am I going to send guys down below? How is your team going to work together? And that's that strategic depth, I think, that ultimately you guys are creating on the designs of these battlegrounds.
All right, I got another video I'm going to play for you that's sort of bringing it all together. This is another game that was a replay taken from some games we were just playing in the office. This is just some of the guys that are playing the game to test it. We grabbed this replay. It's not a perfect example of how the game plays by any measure, but to give you some idea of all these objectives kind of come together and how fast-paced the game can really be. All right, so here we got Falstad. It's the flyer there, and this guy can actually fly over high ground. He's got an ability to fly, and he's going to move and engage these siege giants. This is a mercenary camp, and once he kills these guys, he'll defeat them, they'll cower before them, and then he captures them, and they will move and attack the enemy on his behalf. So he's flying over high ground there to make sure nobody was coming up behind him. He felt satisfied that he was safe. Now he's going to go down to the low ground, and he's going to finish off these siege giants. They're cowering there, and now he's captured them, and they're going to move. Remember those blue siege giants. They're going to be very important later on. Now, over here on the right-hand side of the map, the red team's got a whole other plan they're going to work out here. They're going against these Black Knights. This is another group of mercenaries that's absolutely vital to capture, very, very dangerous once they defeat them. Blue team's got the same idea on the other side of the map, but they've got 4 players and a little bit more energy. They're going to quickly power through those Black Knights and capture them, setting them down the middle lane. Here comes Diablo up for the red team, and they're going to finally, having taken a bit of a beating, capture this camp. Now, we've got Siege Giants top lane, we've got 2 groups of mercenaries middle lane. See, there's the Siege Giants. They're pushing forward, attacking and destroying this town. Now, red team's taking a gamble here. They're going for a Grave Golem. This is a very big mercenary, very difficult to take. If Blue is aware of it, they could really ruin their day right now, but Blue is clueless. They have no idea. Blue is pushing that middle lane. Red is really trying to fight off and capture this guy, and they've finally done it. They've captured, but oh my goodness, a tribute is spawned. A tribute is spawned from the Raven Lord. If you look at the top of the screen, it's 2-to-1 on tributes right now. If Red manages to capture this tribute, they'll get the curse and they'll certainly go on to win this game. Blue has got to block this tribute. Uther's on the capture. Red is being zoned out. They can't close in. Look, Red's scattered all over the battlefield. They're not even close. And there, Uther gathers the tribute, saves his team from certain destruction. Everybody's close together, and they're getting frisky. They want a team fight. Everybody charges into battle. Ultimates are flying off left and right. Red engages poorly. They were streaming into position. Blue gets a bunch of kills, and they're scattering and running away. There's Tyrael in hot pursuit. Huge, huge fight. Blue looked like they were about to get absolutely rolled. They blocked the capture. Now they're going to drop this Grave Golem, and they are absolutely still in this game. They were in a lot of trouble there for a minute, but they managed to work together as a group. They engaged those mercenary camps more efficiently, and now they're going on together to push this top lane. Whew.
Do you want
You
some
are
water?
doing awesome, dude. I am not worthy to be up here with you, dude. That's awesome.
Okay,
But
I'm okay. I'm okay. I can go on. All right. All right. Now, it kind of looked like, I got to do that again. All right. It kind of looked like in that video that maybe the game is just about capturing these mercenary camps. Oh, you just capture mercenary camps and cool stuff happens. Let's watch what happens. It's exactly the same game, exactly the same players, a little bit later in the game. We're in a similar position. Blue now wants to capture a Grave Golem. Look at Tassadar up there on the upper right-hand side of the screen. He's in the bushes. Blue doesn't see him. They have no idea he's there. He's watching everything. Red team sees everything that's going on here. Blue thinks they're totally safe. They're going to try to capture this Grave Golem. Oh my goodness, here comes Red closing in for the kill. Blue is completely clueless, and there goes the charge. The ultimates are firing off, and they're being absolutely annihilated. Blue team is getting completely wrecked. There's nothing they can do. They're scattering. Red manages to close in here. They've got 1 player left. He ice blocks, but it's not enough. Red steals the Grave Golem, snakes it away from Blue, and that's it. This is the game-winning move at this point. Red is going to go on to victory. They're going to follow that Grave Golem, ride him like a pony all the way into the enemy town, and wipe out the opposition. So you got to be careful when you do this. You can't just grab these things whenever you want. You got to know when. You got to know what's going on. You got to have map awareness of what's happening in the game. Whew. Okay.
good job, Dawson.
Man, we got to shoutcast this tomorrow. I may die. I don't know how many of those I can do.
What was that middle part, real quick?
Can we go back?
I have no idea. All right. So this is Heroes of the Storm in a nutshell. It's Blizzard Heroes. It's playing with your buddies. It's trying to use these battlegrounds to create environments that will challenge you as players and allow us to add more and more content to this game for many years to come. Now, before we go, we've got a final video that we think sort of captures the essence and sort of the humor and the fun of Heroes of the Storm in the Nexus. I know you worked pretty hard on getting this in.
Well, this is a good buddy of ours, a guy named John Burton from Carbot. So let's take a quick look.
Faithless coward. I return. I stand with you. Your destiny.
Never cross the queen.
I hear the wilds call.